Hey, I'm Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and today's question that every home buyer should ask is, what are the pros and cons of purchasing a fixer? Let's just say there's quite a long list of pros and cons in this specific situation. A lot of home buyers, when I meet with them the first time, are thinking about a few different things. One of them is their budget, how much they can afford, and then the other one is, what do they like? What are they looking for in a house? And then there's another pocket. I wouldn't say it's everybody, but there are a number of people that are actually thinking about how can I get the best deal? And they're not necessarily thinking about a house that they really like or the budget. It's not necessarily the budget is a concern. It's more, how can I somehow get a deal and maybe steal a house that somebody else isn't interested in. And the first place that people go is to a fixer, a house that needs work. And the reality is, a house that needs work typically has less people interested in it because, well, it needs work. And if you're not handy or don't have the means to pay other people to do the work, well, now you have a house that's broken and has issues, and you're not going to be able to fix them. So the fixer, right, the house that needs work, is potentially a really great opportunity to get a deal. Maybe get a house that other people aren't interested in and add value to it yourself, and potentially actually be able to turn a profit, not necessarily right away, but over the long term, do things incrementally over time. So you're going to see people that will buy a house for cheap, fix it up, and sell it right away. You might call it a flip or a renovation. A lot of the homes, though, that are bought like this are actually people like you and I that are just actually looking to live in the house, and they can do a project after project and slowly bring that house up in value. Because what happens with a house is the land is usually always appreciating unless there's some kind of a, market crash or for some reason if the property values are down, right? But generally speaking, over the long haul, property values go up, but the house actually will deteriorate and lose value over time. So the house is always depreciating and a land value is generally appreciating. And so with the fixer, you're able to add value to the house by improving the structure. Now, the trick is with fixers is they can sometimes be a money pit. And if you are not handy, I mentioned this earlier, if you're not handy or able to do some of the work yourself, you can be spending a lot of money to make the changes that you need. And sometimes the changes are just cosmetic, right? There's different levels of fixer. You've got a cosmetic fixer maybe that is just outdated. So maybe the house looks like 1970 or 1980 on the inside, but there's nothing wrong with the systems of the house or the structure of the house. So what you're doing in essence is living in that house and just making cosmetic changes to essentially your standards and also just make the house more appealing to potential buyers in the future. The other kind of a fixer is going to be that what you'd think of as the boarded up house, the more comprehensive fixer, I guess for lack of a better word. You've got the cosmetic one, but now you've got the comprehensive fixer, the one that really just needs a lot of work. It's maybe there's something wrong with the structure, maybe the foundation, there's issues with the foundation, or the roof's failing and the roof's leaking, and the plumbing is failed, or the electrical wiring's unsafe, things like that. Those are all things that are very expensive to do, and paying other people to do those things costs money. And then couple that with remodel work like the kitchen remodel or the bathroom remodel. If you're paying people to do that, it's generally going to cost you some serious money. So there's definitely some monetary investment involved. So is buying a fixture a good idea? I think it really depends on your situation and what you're looking for as a homeowner, and also what your technical skills are. I've seen friends and known people that have undertaken, maybe their house wasn't a fixture, maybe it was more the cosmetic situation, right? It wasn't the comprehensive fixture, but then they've added onto it, built onto it, essentially made it an even better house than it would have been before and was before, but it takes a lot of money to do that. And sometimes you can actually spend more money on those renovations than you would have spent if you were to just buy a house that has already had that done. And that brings me to the last point here. I think that for a lot of home buyers, it's more beneficial to actually just buy a house that already has those renovations done, because somebody has already paid for all that to be taken care of. Now, you might think that you're spending more to have those benefits, and thinking, I could have done that myself and maybe save money. But most remodels, and this is just right out of the remodel magazine, they've got essentially a pamphlet or a brochure they put out every year on remodel projects, and they do a cost versus value report, and they do interviews with contractors, real estate agents, other professionals in the building world to figure out how much do these projects cost. How much does it cost to do a kitchen remodel, a bathroom remodel, add a deck, things like that. And the majority of those projects actually lose money when you resell it. So out of all those projects, the overwhelming majority of them actually don't give you more value than you spent. So it's negative ROI. So if you're a buyer and you find a house that has all that done to it and then you like it and it's within your budget, it might make more sense to actually buy that house than to buy a different house and then do all that work to it. It'll actually probably cost you more in the long run. So should you buy a fixer? It really depends, but I wouldn't say it's the right purchase for everybody. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any other questions about the home buying process, you'll find those on my YouTube channel here. I actually have a playlist with lots of different questions that home buyers ask. And if you find this content valuable and you want to continue to see other videos like this, please subscribe.